What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video. Don't love the lighting here, but that's okay. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We've got Chicago. We've got a street course, the third year that we are seeing Chicago in this street course, possibly the last time that we're going to see the street course at Chicago be raced in the Cup Series. A lot of talks about maybe going back to Chicagoland. I think that would be interesting. Definitely would be something that I would advocate for as a fan. I think the racing would be great at Chicagoland. But nonetheless, we're going to get one more try at the street course this Sunday, July 4th weekend. And I think the question that a lot of us have is, will the weather hold off this week? Because the last 2 years, this race has been heavily affected by rain. Rain has obviously, played a huge impact on the outcome and who wins the race. First year was SVG, last year was Alex Bowman. Two, I think, really shock winners. SVG in his first Cup Series race comes in, dominates, and gets it done. Last year, we have rain. We start on rain tires, lots of differing strategies, continuous rain. Who wins? Alex Bowman. Late race push by Tyler Reddick to try to run Bowman down. And on the closing laps, as Reddick's getting closer and closer and closer and about to win that race, Reddick gets into the wall, and that was the end of his triumphant come from behind win. Instead, it was Alex Bowman. So again, two kind of shock winners, and this is possibly an event that we could see 3 years in a row having a shock winner. But let me get into the card this week. Let's start with the inaugural winner, Mexico's winner, Shane Van Gisbergen. I have a little bit more faith overall here that the field can kind of hold tough with SVG. Obviously, now we've seen on road courses that, have had some time in the Cup Series that the other group of guys usually hangs tough. We saw it again, first time at Chicago. He was able to come and win that race. Mexico, a few weeks back, new track for a lot of these guys. SVG just has that leg up that a lot of these guys, need some time to kind of orchestrate. And so SVG, I think he's obviously we know he's super talented. Obviously, we know he's going to have a fast car. But overall, he's now going up against the group of guys that are also have also seen this course as much as he has. And overall, you look at a JGR car. I would argue those cars are probably better overall on the full distribution of road courses we have. You look at Sonoma and Coda and Mexico and this track and Watkins Glen. When you put them all together, I think like a JGR car and a Hendrick car are faster. But that's where SVG is not too far behind, but he comes in those kind of waves where new facility, new track, he's going to have that upper leg. So overall, if you want to bet on SVG to spank the field like you did on Mexico, I'm not going to tell you not to do that because I think there's at this point always a good chance that he goes out and dominates. But we saw at Coda, he was only okay. Mexico was a huge step up. Obviously, dominated that race from start to finish, led a ton of laps, led by an enormous gap. But again, we did see that at Coda that these guys definitely. You look at some of the Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell and William Byron and Tyler Reddick, all better than SVG at Coda. So got to keep that in mind. The prop I like this weekend is Toyota to win. I love Ty Gibbs. I love Tyler Reddick. I love Christopher Bell. I like Chase Briscoe a lot. Overall, I just feel confident that Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, they're going to make their presence felt on Sunday. Ty Gibbs, incredibly fast at Mexico. By every metric you look at, he was right there with SVG. It would have been interesting to see if the pit strategy fell the right way, what Ty Gibbs actually had for SVG, but incredibly fast. He is 112 driver rating in the two Chicago races, which is the highest of all active drivers. Then you look at Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell. They're 3 and 4 in these two races, only behind SVG at the number 2 spot. So you've got the 1, 3, 4 guys at this street course if you bet on Toyota. Now, I like Chevy a lot, right? I like Chevy, SVG, Chase Elliott is a guy I'm going to mention, AJ, Michael McDowell, Byron, Larson. They've got plenty of characters themselves. But I like Toyota because I feel like Tyler Reddick, we saw what happened last year. Tracking down Bowman makes a mistake. I think he's going to come with a little bit of a revenge factor. And Ty Gibbs, man, I mean, the kid is just due. And I know I've said that plenty of times on this show, but jeez, he's probably, you know, just licking his lips to see we've got a couple road courses now coming up with this Sonoma. You look at Watkins Glen, you feel like Ty Gibbs has got a really good shot to take one of those down for his first career Cup Series victory. So I like Toyota a lot. You know, you're going with the 1, the 3, the 4, probably around. Let's see if I can get it. Let's see. Let's go to. I feel like Action Network would have what I'm looking for winning manufacturer. Toyota plus 240. Chevy's minus 200, and Ford is plus 500. Ford, you're just relying on a crazy race or Chris Buescher to find a way to get it done. But Toyota plus 240. So you see pretty good odds to get Toyota in this spot. I'm going to talk now Chase Elliott. I say we ride the hot hand. I think we got to ride the hot hand. He's 12-1 on most books. He was awesome at Mexico. He was awesome at COTA. He's been so consistent this year, not a single race finishing outside the top 20, coming off that win. We're just waiting for it all to click, right? We're waiting for it all to be put together by Chase Elliott, where we see that 3, 4 win season. He's third in next gen driver rating for road courses. He's got 2 top 5s at road courses this year. He had won the COTA race. He was spun out on the first lap and essentially like was pretty much a lap down when you kind of look at it. And he rallied all the way back for a top 5 finish. He's got a great string of races coming up with some road courses. He's got Dover, the Brickyard 400, which I think he'll be good at. So this is a string of races where I think Chase Elliott, if you believe in him, and at this point, I'm starting to. I think this is a place where he could rattle off 1, maybe 2 more wins and start to, get back to what I think a lot of us thought he would be, pre next gen, I would say, where this guy was just winning, or on pace rather to win 3, 4, 5 races a season. That's what we thought, but we haven't seen it in a while. But I think confidence is high. He obviously won the Clash earlier this year, so he does have essentially 2 wins on the season. But he hasn't won a road course in a few years now, but he's getting closer and closer, and he's had 2 really solid results, both where he's had to really come from behind and fight and claw his way for a top 5 finish. Let's put it all together. Let's have a start to finish weekend for Chase Elliott, and I think that's where he can shine. Okay, here's the question, too. I talked about the weather. I talked about having surprise winners. What if this race gets wild? If it does, like, who do we look at? Who do we target? I think there's 2 names. The first is a guy that I just love the value right now for him. I think you guys are probably going to laugh a little bit. But Kyle Busch on my book, Rhode Island Sportsbook, is 40-1 to win this race. 40-1 to win this race. He had a killer car at COTA. We really didn't get, he qualified 11th, so just outside the top 10. We didn't really get to see him at Mexico, but we know RCR has always had a good next-gen road course program, starting from Tyler Reddick on to Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch was the best car at COTA. The pit strategy did not work to his favor, but he had the best car. Can he bring that similar car to Chicago? I would say yes. The question is, what dumb mistake will he make? But overall, when I see 40-1 for Kyle Busch at the third road course this season and won. He was, arguably by most metrics the top car. I think you have to take that bet. 40-1 for Kyle Busch to get his first win of the season, first win in 2 years, actually. Um, and then another guy like, what about like a guy like Todd Gilliland? Way, way down at 150, yeah, plus 15,000, 150-1. I think he's a guy. He's had some good solid results here. Average finish at 10th, I believe. Let me get that direct for you. 13, it looks like, with a top 10 and two top 20s. He's got a 76.5 driver rating here, so fairly solid. That would put him right around the top 10. If you take a guy out like Joey Hand, who's really only raced once. So he's hovering right around that top 10 number. And I think, again, if things get a little crazy, if there's some rain involved, if there's some wrecks that take out a lot of the field, which is possible as well. Like this is a tight kind of corner racetrack, hard left and right hand turns. Could we see Todd Gilliland shock the world? I think he's a guy like him, Justin Haley, who's had led laps here and had solid results. He's got a top 5 and an average finish of 9 here. And again, just another and a driver rating of 85.3. So that's in the top 7. I think you got to look at some of these guys and say, okay, if things get a little bit crazy, who are some solid kind of mid-pack road course guys that are a little bit flash in the pans? Todd Gilliland obviously being one. You look at Gilliland overall, he's had success at road courses in the Cup Series. He's had 5 top 10s in the Cup Series at road courses in 19 races. So for a guy that's been with Rick Ware and Front Row Motorsports, that's pretty darn solid. Overall, average finish at 19.5, so not great. But again, you're just looking at a guy that could shock the world when things get a little bit crazy. And he's a guy that's obviously, put in a good result or two here at Chicago and has had solid results. And we know Front Row in their road course program has been good in the next gen era, i.e. Michael McDowell getting a win at Indy. So, overall, I think those two guys, especially the Kyle Busch bet, if you can find it at 40-1, I'm about to place it literally right now on screen. I'm going to click that and then place that. Let's place it for $50. Perfect. I like those bets. So let's go through it one more time. I like Toyota for the winning prop, Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick for outrights, Christopher Bell, I think you can target for an outright as well, Chase Elliott for an outright. And if things get a little bit crazy, Kyle Busch definitely for the outright. I would add that. But Kyle Busch and Todd Gilliland, I think, could shock. And if we get a little bit crazy, I think guys like those two there could, make their presence felt as well. So, again, overall, we look at this. There's a chance it could be just an SVG wins by 10, 20 seconds, but I'm going to go with the field here. I think the field, is going to veer towards what we saw at COTA. So there it is. Want to know what you guys think? As always, put your thoughts in the comment section down below of who you'll be targeting. Give this video a like. Goes a long way for the channel. And of course, please subscribe down below if you have not done so. We make betting videos, we make motorsports and NASCAR content, so please hit that subscribe button down below. And as I always say, let's go win some money. Thanks for watching.